Hey everybody, this is Al Johnson from the Al Johnson Show, and this is going to be my review for the recent episode of Ahsoka, the 5th episode. Number one, spoilers are inbound. There will be spoilers. But also number two, and more importantly, if you still want to be a part of the journey that is the Al Johnson Show, or you want to come on board the train that is the Al Johnson Show, make sure you please do the following. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you click the notification bell whenever new videos are released. Let's begin. But also number three, if you couldn't tell, like with my last few videos or like my previous videos, I'm out walking my beautiful dog. Don't worry, he says hi. But enough of that. Let's talk about episode 5 of Ahsoka. Now, I said in my last video, my last review, that I thought episode 4 of Ahsoka was easily the best one yet, in my opinion, of the show. However, I've come up here to say that I think this episode was a very, very close second, in my opinion. And there were so many great things that happened in this episode that's going to be hard to tackle everything bit by bit. But I'll do my best. Like I said, spoilers. So I mean, we had last week's episode end with the return of Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker that set the internet on fire and set the world ablaze. And count me as somebody who was delighted to see him. Now, granted, I never grew up watching the prequels. I know of the prequels. I've seen bits of the prequels, meaning I have basically seen Hayden Christensen as Anakin throughout my life, even though I've never really delved deep into the character like that. But when he popped up, it was glorious. It was even glorious when he popped up in Obi-Wan. So the fact that we got to have an episode, we got to spend an episode with him and Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. Honestly, that was really, really, really quite compelling. But before all that stuff, I mean, we had basically Hera trying to look for Ahsoka and Sabine. We had little Jason, getting acclimated to his Force abilities. And we had basically this whole thing about, basically this squadron on a rescue mission. And the majority of this episode, the bulk of it, had to do with either just Ahsoka or Ahsoka and Anakin. And the stuff with Anakin and Ahsoka, man, as a casual noob to Star Wars, it was really amazing to watch. If you are a big fan of Clone Wars and the prequels or Rebels like that, you guys were eating this up. Me, I was just paying attention to everything. So you have basically Anakin and Ahsoka inside of the world between worlds. You have Anakin basically telling her, I've come to finish your training. Oh, Master, there's nothing else that you could train me for. I'm good. It's never too old to learn anything new, my young Padawan, and everything else. And just the whole nature, basically, the whole nature of Anakin's lesson was live or die. Do you run or do you fight? If you run, you die. If you fight, you live. And that little sparring match he had with Ahsoka was really quite nice. And just when Ahsoka basically got the best of him, it's like, well, I guess there's nothing else you can offer me. He's like, I haven't told you everything I know. And basically put her in this pseudo flashback sequence where he mentally is still Ahsoka right now, but physically he put her basically in the body of her young self during the Clone Wars era. And basically, again, trying to teach her the lesson about how, when you are in this war, yes, people will die, but you don't have to basically blame yourself for it. It's just that's what happens. It's life. And even when Ahsoka tries to combat that and say, well, it says how, what if I choose not to keep on fighting? Well, then you die. And again, if you're a Clone Wars fan, you were crying or you were screaming at the top of your lungs for every little detail, every little, the freaks come out at night. Anyways, you were all just like freaking out, crying at every little detail. I was just paying attention and watching what's going on. I loved the flickers. Whenever we saw, like 1 second we saw Anakin, and then the next second we see Vader. And just like the demeanor in Hayden Christensen, like, now, guys, remember, like I said, I did grow up knowing about Hayden Christensen as Anakin. I was also aware, growing up, about the perceived backlash he had because of how bad he was written and how badly he came off of in the prequels. But over the last, I would say, decade and a half or so, decade and a half, maybe close to 2 decades, I have seen a lot of praise and understanding for how Anakin came off in the prequels, especially with the animation shows that have come out in between the movies, the prequel movies, and just having a better understanding of Hayden Christensen, to the point that, like I said, when he popped up in Obi-Wan, there was the people who reacted to that show specifically for him, not a dry eye in the house. Same for when he popped up in Ahsoka, not a dry eye in the house. And just like seeing, like, again, imagery of Clone Wars, what they call it, the Siege of Mandalore, just everything. As a new fan, that was something. And then when he says, okay, you know what? Let's go back to the beginning. I told you, what do you want? Live or die? And he becomes Vader, but only in the voice and the eyes and the red saber. And just the way he was a menace in that second duel. And then again, imagery. I love the imagery of when Ahsoka stopped the red saber and had it close to her face. You could see in her eyes she was toying with the dark side. But then she throws it away, insisting that she would choose life. And then he mellows out, and he says there's hope for you yet, and he disappears. And then basically showing Ahsoka, who basically she was thrown off a cliff at the end of episode 4, and showing how she was basically milliseconds away from death. She was drowning in the river, and then she was rescued. And then when she comes out, it's almost like she's been resurrected, and now she is what people call Ahsoka the White. For those that don't know Ahsoka the White, that was at the end of Rebels, where she and Sabine went out to go find Ezra. Now that scene was recreated in Ahsoka, but Ahsoka still had her gray Jedi clothes on, her gray samurai clothes on. But when she was out of the water and dealing with what she dealt with Anakin, she was now in all white, like she's been rebirthed. And then the little things about finding where Sabine was, where did the villains take her, and then proceeds to communicate with the space world, the Purgos. The biggest one, which, shout out to the visuals. The visuals in this episode, particularly with the Purgos and the War Between Worlds and Anakin, the visuals were amazing. But the big space whale, wow. Wow, money was spent on these whales. But just the way she communicated with the whales, asking, where can you take us in this faraway dimension? And just seeing the little space whales come out of the planet into the galaxy, and then hyperspace off to go find Sabine. And just all of that was quite nice. And just at the end of the episode, I just looked at the screen, and when written and directed by Dave Filoni popped up, I said, okay, Dave Filoni, I see you. I see you, man. I see you. Because remember, one of the Star Wars movies in development is a movie directed by him that will have characters from his Disney Plus run. Will hit him and Jon Favreau's Disney Plus run. Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Jude Law, Skeleton Crew, the whole 9 yards. Book of Boba Fett, you know. Andor, you know. I don't think Andor, but you know. But nevertheless, that whole episode was, dare I say it was phenomenal. Just from a narrative point of view, it was quite phenomenal. Now, like I said, episode 4, it was better from a structure standpoint, but from a narrative standpoint, in terms of themes and imagery, it was a real good episode. And let me just say, it was really great to see Hayden Christensen back as Anakin. And I hope, if the story calls for it, or if it's necessary, he continues to come back as Anakin, or as Darth Vader. Because a lot of love he's been getting across social media, if that's not cause for, I guess you could say, celebration, I don't know what is. But folks, that's going to be it. Let me know down below, what did you think about episode 5 of Ahsoka? What are you looking forward to now that we are 3 episodes away from the ending? And how did you feel about seeing Hayden Christensen back as Anakin? Let me know down below, guys. And thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click the notification bell whenever new videos are released. Let me know also how you guys feeling about Ahsoka, the show, currently. Thank you all for watching this. As always, guys, remember, I've been Al Johnson. You're not, and may the Force be with you. Deuces.